big welcome back to day 2 of this 2019 World Judo Masters here in Qingdao, China. Situated in the eastern Shandong province, Qingdao offers a wonderful background to host this final competition of the year. Now the top fighters in the world are here battling it out for valuable world ranking points to ensure Olympic selection next year. And to introduce our final block here on day 2 and all our medal matches is Sheldon Franco.
Good afternoon, Neil, and good afternoon to everyone at home. The opening contest, the first of the bronze medal contests in the under 63 kilo category, features Tang Jing of the Republic of China. She's up against Toshiro Miku of Japan. It'll be Tang in the white judogi, Toshiro in blue, and in the middle, refereeing this one is Roberta Chioglia of Italy.
Two occasions before. Shiro, the winner on both occasions, but this is another tournament, and both fighters, well, they've had a tough run through. As can be expected, we've actually seen, haven't we, some amazing matchups in the early rounds, and that's the thing about World Masters, you know, it's such a high level every match. It's almost like a world final.
You'd like to think that Tang Jing couldn't want for a better situation, you know, having to fight a fight over the quality of Toshiro. She's going to fight her here in China, but there's just something about Toshiro Miku that, you know, the home advantage isn't, you know,
no, exactly. Well,
isn't big enough.
Yeah, Toshiro straight into the lead there. Brilliant Ouchigari there, drives her over. Gets a Wazari for it. Doesn't quite put her flat onto her back for the Ippon. Just have a look how she takes advantage, actually, of being pulled in. And like you said, big advantage to some people. Tang, home advantage, but she'll need more than that here, I think.
I think the other thing that might be going against her is Toshiro still smarting after her loss to her teammate, Nabakuranami. And that gave her a bit of a slap. So
yeah, such is the depth of the Japanese squad. I mean, there's 3 of them in the semi-finals here.
Well, you were talking about the you know, the selection for Tokyo 2020, that must be uppermost in the minds of all of them. You know, do something really, really good. Show to the selectors that you're the one, you know, the number one. Well, Toshiro, up until this point, was the one in the driving seat. Nabakura, although, you know, a little bit in the back, just shaded her here.
Well, yeah, I think with a lot of the categories for the Japanese, because of their depth, will go into the national championship that they'll hold prior to the Olympics, and sometimes that decides who goes, and being world champion and Olympic champion in Japan, unfortunately, doesn't ensure anything. We've had world champions, didn't go to the Olympics.
Be interested to see what happens when the final comes up. Her teammate, Nabakuranami, is going to be up against Clarissa Begninu. And that would be a massive, massive feather in her cap if she could defeat Begninu. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
she's certainly been the most consistent, hasn't she, in the category, certainly over the last, what, 6 years? And she is clearly the number 1 in the world, Begninu, and it will be interesting to see how it goes. Wazari up then, Toshiro against Tang. Tang realizes she's got to do something. That's it, it's all over. Wazari Ippon, same technique for the second one. Ouchigari driving off the back leg, and it's the bronze medal then to Toshiro.
It's interesting, you know, the way that different people execute that Ouchigari, and some don't rely as much on having that leg really, really tight. Whereas with Toshiro Miku, there. Once it was hooked in, there was no way of Tang getting off that. She was wriggling on the way down, trying to get off, but the leg was so well trapped and wrapped up.
I think it's about commitment as well, Sheldon. It's all about really believing that you're going to throw the opponent. I think that what we see a lot of the time is just that lack of commitment, which often ends up with them getting counted. But Toshiro wasn't going to happen here. Two brilliant Ochigaris, full commitment, and world number 2. She is the world number 2. This is the first one, and again, Tang was coming forwards, but changes the direction, drives off that back leg. Look at the drive there, and like you said, foot right the way in there, no way of getting off it.
I think when you see the second, it's a carbon copy, isn't it?
Yep,
yeah,
look at that. Off the lapel this time, though, and look at the drive there with the lapel hand. That Suruchi hand just managing to really direct her opponent.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little knock with that leg, and they lose the leg, but there's enough power in the top. She never loses contact with the leg there. It's like, you know, it's stuck, can't get off it. And then, of course, there's the upper body power that Neil's talked about here. Just look at the push with the left hand as well.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
really
nice shot.
And a nice way to open it up for this second final block of this championships.
We come now to the second of the bronze medal contest. Tina Trsteniak of Slovenia faces Doi Masako of Japan. It'll be Trsteniak in the white judogi, Doi in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Turbat Ensetseg of Mongolia.
But Trsteniak was the one that dominated in the weight category for quite a few years, actually leading up to the last Olympic Games, and it was back and forth between Agbegnanu and Trsteniak, and now Trsteniak has just fallen behind just a little bit, and I'd say that she's still up there, roundabout for sure, and with a medal chance, I think, for the Olympic Games, but well, she's certainly behind Agbegnanu at the moment in the world rankings, and I think on form.
Just as an aside, the International Judo Federation media director and I were walking out of the competition area, and we went past the warm-up area, and there were 2 athletes left on the tatami, just standing, chatting with each other, and it was Trsteniak and Agbegnanu, just a pair of them.
That's incredible, isn't it? Great rivals as well.
Best buddies off the mat.
So the Olympic champion in white, Tina Trsteniak, Slovenia, having her head pulled down at the moment. Well, Doi will have something, won't she? She's got everything to prove here, because she's out here against the Olympic champion. It will be a great scalp for her.
Looked really good during the preliminaries. Single slip has put her in to this bronze medal contest.
She really is a winner, isn't she? Trsteniak we've seen her struggling for part of the contest, and then she'll pull something out the bag. She really is one of those kind of athletes.
Of the top 4 seeds, only Martina Traidos is missing from this final block. Doi Masako of Japan sorted her out early on and kind of took her place.
One contest apiece for these two. 3rd time they've met. I think these are definitely, I mean, they probably trained together a lot, but it's international competitions on the world tour. That was a close one, wasn't it there, Doi? Right the way underneath. So you can win by throwing your opponent flat on their back for the ippon. 3 ways of winning on the ground: arm lock, strangle for a submission, or hold them on their back for 20 seconds. So just working away, and we've seen her do it so often here. Tryssenjak here, just so typical of the Slovenian team, just working so hard at it, but she'll have to be a little bit careful down here with Doi.
Yeah, she's one of the... tricky to say because most of the Japanese women are good on the ground, but in particular, you know, it's Doi who's got that edge. Sometimes you'll find one or two of them have spent that little bit too much investing on one part of their skill set.
I would say, though, that if she's going to stand any chance, it's going to be down here with Tryssenjak, because Tryssenjak here now having her arm tied up, and Doi has just got to come over on top, and that just, again, might be real trouble for Tryssenjak.
She went a little bit early there. I don't think she'd wrapped the top half up enough. This is better now, and then she feels the leg is too strong.
Yes.
Yeah, really good.
It was a great bit of newaza, wasn't it? And Tryssenjak, the Olympic champion, in all sorts of problems.
Treated like a baby there, to be honest, really.
Well, once you're down there, if you stay in that position, once they're in the hold down, nothing you can do about it. The Olympic champion then coming away with a 5th place at this World Masters, and that was a good win, wasn't it, for Doi?
Yeah. Her only shortcoming is that her tachiwaza doesn't come up to the same kind of level. You know, she's not the fighter who smacks them up and bangs them out there. She catches a lot of people in newaza. There's nothing wrong with that, but you get to a certain level and you're then asked to perform at a much higher level, and she, unfortunately, doesn't have the same kind of success standing up as she does on the ground.
I think, though, from a tactical point of view, did everything right.
Yeah.
She was going to lose from a standing position, take it to the ground, work it there. Once she'd wrapped the arm up, look how she wraps the arm up there with the belt. You're allowed to do that, entangle the arm with the belt, and then it's take the leg out. And like you said there, it didn't look as if she was going to even move from there, really. No choice. Readjust the hips go down, concentrates on the upper part of the body there, and Tryssenjak doesn't get a medal this time.
And it's really good work from Doi, because she knows when to concentrate on which part of the body to move from, you know, the top half to freeing up the leg, but then when she has to go back up to the upper half, she's already secured that. That's good work, really nice.
So 3 guaranteed Japanese on the roster, and that's possible because it's a world ranking event, so top 32 on the world are invited.
We come now to the final of the under 63 kilo category. Clarisse Agbegnanu of France faces Nabekura Nami of Japan. It'll be Agbegnanu in the white judogi, Nabekura in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Orlando Cruz of the Dominican Republic.
Yes, what a final. Clarisse Agbegnanu, definitely the world #1. Doesn't always work that way. We were actually talking a little bit earlier on about the Olympic Games, and there's nothing set in stone. It doesn't matter how clear you are as the leader in the world. Actually, the Olympic Games totally different event, and anything can happen, and it often does. But Agbegnanu, it would be an absolute tragedy if she ends her career and doesn't win the Olympic gold medal. I'm saying that from a personal point of view. I just think it would be. To a lot of good fighters.
Nabekura has had the tougher draw, to be honest. She's had to get past Tryssenjak in the quarterfinal and then Tashira Miku in the semi-final, and now she's up against Clarisse Agbegnanu, and those are the top 3 fighters in the world.
Yeah, hard run through, and you can see the physical power there. Agbegnanu pulling the head down, but she'll have to attack off it. She might just get a penalty well, it goes the other way. But I think if Agbegnanu keeps on doing that and doesn't attack herself, she could find herself being penalized for that. And the reason behind that is that we don't want people just to pull the head down because they're physically the strongest and win a whole contest through penalties being awarded to the opponent.
Second time that I've seen Agbegnanu do that today and get away with it. She did that in the semi-final against Doi Masako of Japan. Just controlled the top half, pulled it down. There were a few foot taps that made it look as though she was attacking. But for me, they weren't really, you know, they weren't really attacks. If she just took control, pulled the head down and controlled her.
It's got to be, it's all about, isn't it, intention to throw from it, and she can. So, I mean, there's no excuse. We know that she's one of the biggest throwers, and that was, wow, one of her biggest techniques there. Koshiguruma, and just, she catches it off the fly straight away, immediately. As she's moving in, she catches the grip at the same time.
Just seen Tina Turstenyak caught on the ground. I wouldn't put it past Nabakura, who hasn't quite got the same kind of skill on the ground that Doi Masako has, but I wouldn't put it past Nabakura to give Agbegnanu a go on the ground here.
You'll have to get her there, I think. I think that at the moment, Agbegnanu just dominating the grips, but in the end, you need a score. One Shido on the board, Nabakura. Three of those, of course, and it's all over.
Not unusual for the Japanese to fall behind by a Shido. Quite often their tempo is a little bit slower, despite the fact that they're on the circuit regularly. When they're back in Japan, their pace is slightly slower.
Well, it's been all Agbegnanu at the moment, so she's the one dominating the grips, initiating the techniques from a standing perspective. And there's the Kouchi again. I think there's another penalty going to go up to Nabakura any second now.
Hasn't been able to come up with anything.
Gets away with it for now, but if I was her, I'd certainly think about an attack. Easier said than done. I'd say that 90% of our game is about the gripping strategies, and once we have a dominant grip, then we initiate the attack. And at the moment, Agbegnanu is initiating the dominant grip. That was close.
Yeah, slipped there, and Nabakura wasn't quite in the position to take advantage of it. Agbeganu's left foot just sliding across the tatami. You don't see that often.
Well, I was going to say, we use the feet a lot in order to set up certain angles for attack for the big one, but they sometimes are a major technique as well. And the Japanese are absolute masters at it, using the feet in order to break balance.
See just how concerned Nabakura is about the grips. She's working most on defending against the grips and the power of Agbegnanu, and she hasn't been able to come up with an attack.
Well, that's certainly not where she wants to be there, Nabakura, that's for sure. I mean, that big arm of Agbegnanu there was right the way over the back. That's where she wants it.
How quickly the time has gone.
Yeah, the time has gone. It's quite a tactical match, but an interesting one as well. It's not that it's been boring. Both fighters, two of the best in the world, and they're battling it out, don't forget. So it's not going to be just plain sailing and easy. It's going to go into golden score, though, and that means that, well, golden score can go any time as long as they both attack at the given amount of time, which is about 20 to 30 seconds.
First time that she's gone across, and it really wasn't even that committed, was it? Just stuck the right leg out there, looked a little bit like Uchimata, but I wouldn't even have called that an attack. Not least of all because she's still hiding the left arm. She isn't taking hold with the left hand.
Well, like I say, it's about commitment and belief. Every time Agbegnanu goes in, she believes she's going to throw with it. Playing a good match though, Nabakura. She knows that she's up against it here, so playing a good tactical match. One score, of course, any score will steal this. 3 penalties on the board as well. Tried to change direction there, Nabakura.
Shaped a little bit with the right-sided Suranage, didn't she? Would have liked to have hooked the right leg in for the Kochigari for the other direction, but that wasn't there. I think Agbegnanu has seen that when she's been up against Tersteniak, so had that well covered.
I think that Agbegnanu, once she has the sleeve, is going to look to do an attack immediately, and I think that's what's going to make the difference. We've seen so many matches, haven't we, over the last 2 days actually now, that have been this kind of close. And a lot of people saying, well, we want to see Ippons, but at the World Masters, which is the top fighters in the world, when they're battling it out, you're not going to get it easy. I mean, we're going to see Ippons, of course we are, but we're not going to see it easy. It's sometimes very, very close. Closely fought, tactical play.
Well, I can assure those people who want to see an Ippon that both these fighters came out there wishing the same thing.
That's true.
I hope I'm going to get Ippon here. There's the first real threat there from Nabakura. Agbegnanu able to step over it.
That was lovely Uchimata, wasn't it? Right the way up the middle there. I don't know if we're going to see that back in slow motion, but then...
oh, does Agbegnanu get a penalty?
Well, 2 up there. 2 penalties up to Agbegnanu, and it's Nabakura putting in the work.
This is when she really needs to be clever and step things up here.
Not often she's in this situation here. She normally dominates completely. There's the hips going across. Good technique from Agbegnanu.
No way in for Nabakura on the ground. 2.5 minutes already of golden score we've had.
Well, I really don't know who's going to steal this, and I think it's going to be a steal at the end of the day. Looking for the Uchimata.
It's tentative though, isn't it? She's away from her. She's not really deep in there, and as soon as she's in, she's almost falling away from her.
And you know, I think it's because she doesn't want the sidestep and the
the Tsukeshi.
The Tsukeshi to come from it.
Or get really close in and then get picked up. Tipped, perhaps. Feeling something.
Well, I think that's it. They feel the danger. Now, ready and loaded up. Is she going to change the direction? Is she going to commit now for the big technique? And that was a bad technique there from Nabakura. She just might get a second Shido for that. Just dropping onto her knees. Gets away with it.
Was close though. Just felt that she was more concerned about getting out of that position than really attacking. It was a little bit better, not quite there, no.
It wasn't quite, was it? The elbow was out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what shoulder she comes off at.
It's a better effort as well. So 2 reasonable attacks there, back to back. She really does have to step it up from here because Agbegnanu has got 2 penalties already.
Agbegnanu now on the back foot. She realizes that Nabakura is ahead on attacks, and she's the one with the 2 penalties. Nabakura again.
Clever work here.
Oh, that might be it now. She might, that might just be it. She might have just landed on her side there. Agbegnanu, she says, oh, I didn't, but I'm sure we're going to see this back in slow motion. So Nabakura has stolen it.
Well, in the intro to the final, we were talking about what Nabakura could do to really put the pressure on her teammate. Because this was more about, of course, it was about beating Agbegnanu, but it was about beating Agbegnanu for a reason. And that end goal is to put her in the driving seat ahead of Toshiro Miko. Because the last time that Toshiro Miko beat Agbegnanu was when they were building the pyramids. So the thing for Nabakura now was to really give herself that opportunity to be looked at as a real option away from Toshiro Miko.
Well, I've got to say that she absolutely played it tactically superb. She landed on her side. I mean, it's not the kind of score I'm sure that she would have preferred, but just manages to get the rotation and take her onto her side there. A little bit of, well, she wasn't sure at first, was she, and didn't really like it, Agbegnanu, but accepted it.
Yeah, well, that's the shot there. You know, you freeze that shot and you've got your score. It's not what everyone is going to like, but there's a rule, and she gets caught. There it is.
Yeah, well, they say if the hand's across, pulled across, and the side hits the ground, then it's a definite score,
yeah.
And Nabakura does enough.
Right. Well, we should be watching the first of the bronze medal contests in the under 73 kilo category. That was due to be Rustam Orozhov of Azerbaijan. He was going to be up against Akil Zhakova of Kosovo. Unfortunately, Zhakova injured his elbow in a previous contest and won't be able to compete. Justini Balash of Hungary, the referee, has the rather simple task of awarding the contest to Rustam Orozhov of Azerbaijan, and we hope very much that Akil Zhakova's injury is not that serious, but it is a suspected dislocated elbow. That's the report that we've got. All right, we've got a second bronze medal contest coming up next. Viktor Sfortov of the United Arab Emirates goes up against Ebinuma Masashi of Japan. It'll be Sfortov in the white judogi, Ebinuma in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Everardo Garcia of Mexico. Neil.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Ebinuma, three-time world champion, and he's fighting for kind of second reserve spot for the Olympic Games. We've got Ono, who's already probably going, the world champion, current world champion, but he hasn't done the last two events, didn't do Japan. Ebinuma beat Hashimoto in the final over there. Hashimoto's in this final, and Ebinuma, who lost in the semi-final, is going to have to fight for third place. But he is an amazing judoka, he really is. And Sfortov back in a major medal match. Been a little bit off the scene, hasn't he? Just for a little bit. He was quite consistently brilliant, Sfortov, for quite some time. But here he is back, and he's got a mountain to climb.
Yeah, there's something sharp about Viktor Sfortov. I like watching him. Exciting fighter. Quite open. The difficulty with that is that from time to time he's on the receiving end of something spectacular, as opposed to dishing it out. There are a few of those on the circuit. Frank de Witt is one of them. Noel van ter End is another. The two Dutch fighters can dish it out, and then from time to time you see them on their backs.
They call Ebinuma the monk in Japan because he is just such a dedicated athlete. Kind of locks himself away, does all of his training, and then goes back, and he's in bed by 9 o'clock at night, and yeah, real dedication.
I think I'd have failed that test.
Still failing.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Strong fight for grips, as always. Once they get the grip, just need that little bit of time just to get the right opening for the attack. Can go left and right as well, Ebenuma. Svortov, more of a lefty. Setting him up for the Cianagi here, Ebenuma.
Nice awareness there from Svortov. He felt that coming. You could see the space grow as Ebenuma was trying to get close, and he just moved further and further away from him and ended up a
fear.
Yeah. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
You know, we're talking quite often about when you're out there, you feel the danger. Ebenuma, one of the biggest throwers in the world, and as soon as he takes hold, you would feel the danger out there, absolutely.
I'm sure if there's a word for being opposite to magnetic. You know, magnetic, you get drawn in. I wonder what the word is for when you get pushed away. Sort of had the foot on the out pedal, I think.
I have got a word for it.
Okay, we'll leave that. Half the contest gone. Single Shido picked up by Svortov.
Well, doing well here, Svortov. Just, he knows that he's got to close this match down. If he gives just one split second, just 1/8 of an inch, he's going to be in there, Ebenuma, with a huge technique.
Oh, nice movement there from Svortov.
Was lovely technique, and that's the way to do it. Actually, if you're fighting somebody with the skills of Ebenuma, the best way to do it is to get out there and fight hard and try and kill their technique, their beautiful technique, as dead as you possibly can. And if you manage to do that a few times, then it tends to upset them a little bit. Still setting him up for the Cianagi, Ebenuma. There it is. Oh, like lightning there. Changed the direction. Osotogari came in for the Cianagi first, then changed to the Osoto.
Yeah, he'd given him the single look at the Cianagi first, and then he gave it to him again. I don't think he fell for it because it was just so sharp. He was so quickly into the second technique.
I think it's Svortov now. He's got to initiate one. Ebenuma, the winner in Osaka, Japan. And he beat Hashimoto in the final with an onside komi, held him down. I think everybody was waiting for the match. We kind of half expected it to happen here, but Ebenuma just fell that little bit short.
Nice stance Svortov has got. He never gives you the idea that he's bent over in jigatai or anything. He's got nice, positive attacking judo.
He looks, I've got to say, relatively comfortable. The odd twitch there from Ebenuma, but managing to quell the storm so far. There's the Cianagi, and it's all over. Well, he was looking for it all the time, wasn't he? The Ippon Cianagi, then the hips go across. Just that split second, lack of concentration from Svortov, and Ebenuma was underneath.
Doesn't that happen in that first few seconds in the golden score period? You've shown 4 minutes where you really didn't look as though you were going to get caught. First few seconds of golden score, whack, you go over huge. Really got hold of him.
Well, like I said, I think he did really well, Svortov. He managed to quell it for that first 4 minutes. well. Looked to be competitive as well. Almost rocks Ebenuma a couple of times, but then Ebenuma, well, he flicked in a couple of times for the Cianagi. In the end, he got that little bit of space that he needed.
With the speed as well, you know, he was in so quickly and in such a good position that once Svortov was up, there was no getting off it.
Well, he readjusts as well,
yeah.
Ebenuma. It's amazing the way he does it. So he'll go in with the arm. The arm actually goes upwards. We'll have a little look in a second at the replay. There it is. Look at the arm going up. Look at the readjustment of the hips there, and then the rotation to finish it off.
Yeah, take note of what Neil has just said there, because the feet stay in the same place. He just wobbles a little bit, but the feet are there. He's got the feet in the right position, just wobbles a little bit, up and over. Really nice finish.
And it's the readjustment of the feet. Look how we readjust them now, just to get them a little bit further back. The hips were already in. Super stuff from Ebenuma. We always expect it from him, and more than not, he delivers. Double break four there from Svortov.
Even one from the coach, look. Oh, well, if you can lip read.
And speak the language.
Yeah. Well, I know that particular word.
Yeah.
Right, we come now to the final of the under 73 kilo category. We were due to see Toha Butbul of Israel up against Hashimoto Soichi of Japan. Unfortunately, Toha Butbul picked up an injury in a previous contest, so unfortunately he had to withdraw. Hashimoto is about to make his way to the tatami. Lubomir Peter is the referee in Australia who has the job of just awarding the contest to Hashimoto, who I'm absolutely certain would have loved to have gone up against the Israeli, who was on good form today, Toha Butbul, but wasn't to be. Hashimoto takes the gold medal.
Yes, it's a shame, isn't it, that happened, because Butbul was absolutely on blinding form. It would have been such a good match. It really would have.
Right, we come now to the awarding ceremony for the women in the under 63 kilo category. The athletes are lined up down there at the far end of the competition hall. Neil Adams spoke about the 3 Japanese who are going to be on the podium.
Well, such is the depth, isn't it? The depth of the Japanese in most of the categories. They've got people that can get medals at world level.
The first of the bronze medals goes to Doi Masako of Japan. There's a bronze medal also for Tashiro Miku of Japan. Silver medal goes to Clarisse Agbegnenu of France. And the gold medal goes to Nabekura Nami of Japan. Agbegnenu finds herself in the slightly unusual position of coming second.
Yes, unusual, but you've got to say that was a fine performance. It really was. Pressure was on. Just managed to stay ahead and managed to build up the attacks, which was with the only way really for her to win. But she did it well, and in the end managed to get a very small score, enough to win it.
France have got 3 world champions here. Clarisse Agbegnenu is one of them. Marie-Eve Gahi is another, and then tomorrow it will be the turn of Madeleine Malonga. But before all of that, we've got the national anthem of Japan.
Always got a smile on her face, Agbegnanu. Even with the defeat, handles it well. And she'll be there for the Olympic Games, that's for sure. What is it they say? Bad dress rehearsal. Good performance. Still a good performance from Agbegnanu, though. It was a tight match.
Marie and Tashiro were the bronze medal winners. It was Agbegnanu who took the silver. As you say, nice big smile. Nadakura gets used to things, taking the gold medal. Right, we come to the first of the bronze medal contests in the under 70 kilo category. It's an all French affair featuring Marie-Yves Gahi of France. She's up against Margot Pinault. And it will be Gahi in the white judogi, Pinault in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Artur Fando of Belarus.
World number 1 as well, Gahi. Had a great World Championships. Amazing, actually, didn't they? The French with their 3 gold medals. 3 of the ladies, that was.
Lost in the quarter-final, Marie-Yves Gahi here, to Arai Chizuru of Japan. Margot Pinault, it was, who lost in the semi-final to Kim Polling of the Netherlands. That's how the two find themselves going up against one another, head-to-head. Here it is.
Well, I think both of these will be looking for the big score. Oh, look at that, straight away. Gahi into the attack there. Absolute intention behind every kumakata, every gripping exchange that she makes. It's to throw, to try and throw.
Yeah, for those who've come here with the red back patch, or even the ones who've got the gold back patch, the Olympic champions, it's a rude awakening when you get pushed down either out of the competition early in the preliminaries, or you get pushed down into the bronze medal contest. You've still got to pick yourself up and come back and perform.
Yeah, I think, especially when they're all tired, you know, oh, that's it, it's all over. What a technique that was. Gahi, like I said, looking for the dominant grip all the time. Big arm over the top there. Pinault didn't stand a chance there.
Completely overpowered. And there's no hanging around and chatting about it, is there?
Yeah, well, I was going to say that what they've got to do is they've got to perform even if they're on a bad day or if they're tired. And Gahi there won't be happy with the bronze medal because that's not what she came for. She came here to win. Of course, as the defending world champion and world number 1. But she just took Pinault of France apart there. Look at this big right arm over, and at the same time she's moving in for the Osoto Ashiguruma, but beautifully taken. Arm comes over, she's moving in at the same time, and the arm and the leg make contact at exactly the same time. Straight after that, of course, the back of Pino makes contact with the mat. Super stuff. Great Ippon Judo, that's what we want to see.
Well, we've got a second bronze medal contest coming up now. Michaela Polaris of Austria faces Arai Chizuru of Japan. It'll be Polaris in the white judogi, Arai in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Veli-Matti Karinkanta of Finland.
Well, of course, we're seeing a lot of fighters with very similar world rankings at these events. This is the last qualifying event of the year. I think there's only one other qualifying event before the Olympic Games still to come. And then I think that anybody who's got a chance of qualifying in the top 8, that's going to be their main objective, so that until the quarterfinals, they're going to be actually away from their main contenders. That's the objective anyway.
Polaris apparently hasn't been feeling that well, and yet she finds herself in the bronze medal position.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as injuries, isn't it? When you're actually out there, the referee shouts Hajime, you kind of half forget it. That is until you get to about 3.5 minutes in. Then you realise.
Arai hasn't been having the best of times recently either.
Well, just look at the feet, how she uses the feet there to upset the balance of Polaris. It's all about getting that right leg of Polaris, just that back, moving backwards just that little bit so that she can move in, and that's what Arai will be trying to do.
Early days in the contest yet, but just got the feeling that Michaela Polaris looks a little bit flat-footed. Especially after that last attack from Arai. She wasn't, you know, getting out of there quick enough for my liking. Gone inside the sleeve there, Neil, look, with the left hand. Just broke the grip off now.
She wants the way in. It's left against right. Arai, left-handed, and she'll keep hitting that front leg to get it back, and then she'll go inside it. Problem is, when you have a right to left situation, that they can sidestep and then project you onto your own back using your momentum. That is if you attack that front leg, and as you can see there, both of them have the same situation, front leg forward, and it's Arai that's attacking Polaris' leg all the time. Judo coming up, I think, for Polaris.
She does pick up a Shido for passivity. Half the contest still to come, there's plenty of time.
People at home, remember that 3 of those dots there mean the end of the contest. If it's 3 on the same, for the same person, that is.
Sode effort there from Polaris just didn't have any punch to it, did it? You know, it's
No.
like slow into it. She just doesn't look her usual self, and she got caught there.
Yeah, she made her way over, didn't she? She was looking for the combination from the Ashiwaza to the Ashiguruma and just drove Polaris onto her side. It didn't quite get her onto her back, so it didn't warrant the ippon, just lacks something. Well, she knows she has to go forward now into the last minute of the contest here, and Polares starts to open up.
All right, cleverly attacking there, just as the big right arm went around the waist from Polares. It was the first time that she'd really threatened her with that. The Japanese able to get an attacking that's brought them both to the ground now and has a chance to work in Newaza.
Well, this is positive groundwork as well. The referee will allow it to carry on if it's positive. She needs to get that leg out, and Polares holding on to the leg there. You can see she's got hold of it underneath, and she won't let go of that.
Oh, here it comes. Just the foot left. Now she can use the right leg to push down. Out comes the foot. Tadishio Gatami. And then Polares has had to tap out.
Again, a nice bit of groundwork there from the Japanese, and we see them do it so often. It's something that they drill all the time. They'll have a leg trapped, they'll tie up the top half, control the head, and then they'll just take the leg out as if it's a knife through butter.
Just as well that you've got that kind of referee in the middle who'd see that come in, allows that to develop, because that was a good Osaikomi situation, and there are one or two, perhaps not at this level, but maybe lower down, who would have called mate, saying this isn't going anywhere, but quite clearly that was to me anyway.
Yeah, I think that we've seen that, haven't we? Certainly it was one of the problems with judo, not enough time given for the groundwork. There was the Osoto there, Osoto, Ashiguruma, but I think it was more Ashi. Beautiful, it was indeed. Ashiguruma, and takes her cleanly onto a side there. And then in the end, it was a nice bit of groundwork, and like Sheldon said, given time to develop. Certainly it's something that all of the top referees in the world are allowing now, and we need it to filter down all the way down to all levels. If it's developing, let it develop, because it could just end in ippon, and that's exactly what's happened here. Quick look at the clock there, Polares. She wanted that 3 seconds. There was 3 seconds on the clock actually, and then in the end she just taps out.
We come now to the final of the under 70 kilo category. Sanne van Dijken of the Netherlands faces Kim Polling of the Netherlands. It will be Van Dijken in the white judogi, Polling in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Jean-Claude Jimby of Gabon. 0-4 Van Dijken against Polling.
0-4, but look who's got the higher world ranking, so what a situation for the Dutch. And it will be left up to them. Only one of these can go to the Olympic Games, and so this is a real pressure point for these two, because if Sanne van Dijken beats Kim Polling here in the final of the World Masters, it will definitely give her a chance anyway of an Olympic berth.
Yeah, 12, number 12 in the world is Kim Polling. She's qualified, or in a qualified position. Number 3 in the world is Sanne van Dijken.
Well, if you're a Dutch selector, you're looking at a match like this and you think, well, let's hope they sort it out. Like you say, though, it's all Polling at the moment, but we've seen her brilliant, haven't we? She has these brilliant moments, and then sometimes it goes away from her. Is that strangle on? Now then, that's interesting. She has a strangle on there, and it looks to me... Okay. Well, it looked to me as if it was on, well and truly on. Drops Sinagi, and Wazari scored straight away.
The nightmare for Van Dijken is that she can beat almost everybody in the world except her teammate.
Well, like you say, it's 5-0, isn't it? And you know, when you look
Well,
at
it could be after this.
Yeah. Well, she got a Shido this time just for dropping. You've got to take your opponent with you. You've got to have good kumakata, and that's been taken off. So that straight away the referee supervisors went in there and a quick look and said no. That might be though.
Middle Yoko Tomoinagi from Polling.
I'm just trying to think, how many times has Kim Polling won the World Masters? Already 3 times, isn't it?
Could be 3.
Yes. This would be a 4th time, but never won a global World Championship or Olympic Games, which is quite interesting. When we've expected it the most from Kim Polling, hasn't happened, but she's certainly come back onto terrific form. She's had great last few tournaments. Back to her very best. Be interested to know who warmed them up, these two. Certainly, I don't think they would have been warming each other up. That's it.
Yeah,
Wazari Wazeti upon, and that's all over. Kim Polling has finished it off.
And there's that back to the drawing board look written all over Sanne van Dijk's face.
I think you're right, Sheldon, in is that she finds it very difficult against Kim Polling. It's one of those things, isn't it? You know, it's sometimes we have a fighter that is not good for us to fight. Opposing styles, call it what you want.
And the thing for Kim Polling is that just the one that she wants here, so it's 4. She joins Dorje and Sumia, I think, as the only person to have won four Masters. With Kim Polling, it's as though she's enthused by the challenge that she faces from her teammate and raises the game, because she was non-stop there, almost to the point where the referee is going to say, you know, I'm going to call you for a false attack because you just appear to be dropping. She just couldn't stop attacking.
Yeah, but I mean, it is her style, isn't it? Sometimes she comes in, she doesn't look as if she's all the way in. Here, this Seoinage here doesn't look as if she's all the way in, but she gets such drive and she has such control of the upper part of the body. This time, Sorisora Komigoshi takes her off the other shoulder and again onto her side.
I'll do exactly what Sanne van Dijk did in this situation at the end. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't kill yourself about this one. Silver medal at the World Masters. You're the world number 3. She's the world number 12. She's got to chase you. She's got to come for you. Just get out there, look at the other opponents and beat all the others who you are likely to face at the Olympic Games. Don't concentrate on your teammate. Leave that.
Good performance then from this lady. 4th time she's won this title.
We come now to the awarding ceremony for the men in the under 73 kilo category.
Well, there's a great judo man. Olympic champion, 3-time world champion. One of the great Koreans.
Yeah, Mr. Jong is presenting the medals, and the first of the bronze medals goes to Ebinuma Masashi of Japan. There's a bronze medal also for Rustam Orozhov of Azerbaijan. Silver medal goes to Toha Budpul of Israel. The gold medal goes to Hashimoto Soichi of Japan. No doubt he would have liked to have had an opponent in the final to put on a bit of a show.
Well, it'll be interesting, wouldn't it, to know what's going through his mind now. Does this put me into contention, possible contention there against Mr. Ono? I mean, he's you know, certainly got the attitude for it, but
it's funny because Ono is the only one in Japan that I'd say his name is already there. He's going.
doesn't very often happen, does it? They have an absolute clear one. You know,
especially when you've got someone like Hashimoto, because had it not been for Ono, then everyone would have been saying Hashimoto is the man. He's going to go.
Yeah, for sure. And all world champions, Ebenuma there, not very happy about that. And I think that from Ebenuma's point of view, maybe he was hoping to be number 2 at the end of this.
And now the national anthem of Japan. Yeah, it's something that Hashimoto is going to have to learn to live with. You know, he beat everybody in the world except Ono, who happens to be able to beat everyone else in the world. So that's what it comes down to.
They've only met one time, and that was the first time they'd met actually in the final of the national championships, the last ones. And yeah, Ono, tight match, but Ono came out the winner.
Ebenuma and Orozhov were the bronze medal winners. Butbull picked up the silver. It was Hashimoto who walked away with the gold medal. Right, we come to the first of the bronze medal contests in the under 81 kilo category. Alan Kubetsov of Russia faces Dominic Ressel of Germany. It'll be Kubetsov in the white judogi, Ressel in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Raul Camacho of Spain.
Well, Ressel, every time I looked up during the preliminary rounds, he was spoiling somebody's party. He was just working his way, just as a grafter. He just gets in there and he just does his job quietly and efficiently, and he was taking them over well, methodically, but yeah, brilliant stuff.
The last time I looked up and saw him, he was sitting opposite me in the KFC. Yeah. With, who was it that he was with? And his teammate was tucking into it, and I thought, why isn't Dominic Ressel having anything? Well, now I know why.
Yeah. Well, Kubetsov, their last 2 times that they fought has come out the winner. Kubetsov, of course, there were 2 Russians in this. Kabaleyev as well, the Olympic champion. Went out in the early rounds. A lot of selection matches as well, thinking of the Olympic Games. Just saw one there, didn't we, with the all-Dutch final.
Yeah, it's almost as though you were looking at a card game. This one plays this one, that one plays that one. You don't know what's in the rest of the hand, but you just begin to get a feeling of where, you know, who's holding all the cards.
It's always a difficult one. There's always going to be somebody disappointed, aren't there? You know, when it comes to selections for anything like the Olympic Games, you know, whether it's for refereeing or as a competitor, somebody's got to go and somebody's got to stay at home. It's very unfortunate.
True.
Great history in the middleweight division, the Germans. Surprise world champions have come through, Olympic champions, and they produced them one after another. Change of direction there from wrestle.
Yeah, we can go back, I suppose, to... We won't want to go back too far, but we can go back to
84.
No, but we can go back to Florian Vanner, I think, who was a real surprise, and then maybe a little bit, you know, not that far back to Alexander Witzacek.
And Witzacek was in this tournament as well, you know, so still in there.
The only thing I'd say about Alexander Witzacek is he did come back and win a bronze medal as well, you know, whereas Florian Vanner just, you know, disappeared.
And he said he was happier actually with the bronze medal because it proved that it wasn't a fluke with the world title.
Yeah, good for him.
The year earlier. Well, Kubetsov has got to start here now because it's wrestle that's taking the initiative here.
And it was Kubetsov who beat Hassan Khan-Musayev in the repechage contest to take this spot in the bronze medal contest. That was a real humdinger. It's not often that you see a group of Russian fighters lined up all around screaming and shouting, you know, for different players. And
that's interesting, isn't it? Well, like we said
before,
real
battle.
When it comes to selections, that was a very important one, wasn't it? Yeah. This medal actually for Kubetsov would probably seal it, or could do.
You just see he looked up there. Kubetsov, not sure what he heard in the stands, but someone shouting something out. He happened to look up. Both fighters pick up penalties. That's a second for wrestle, however. We've got a little over a minute left to go.
Changes direction, wrestle. He'll go one side and then change to the other flank. And like I say, just catches people by surprise. Lost to Cass in the semi-finals. Looking forward to seeing Cass in the final. Well, he was right on the arm there, and I tell you now, that was very dangerous because Kubetsov, there are two different ways of doing the Sorisura Kamigoshi, and if you go in at the wrong angle and too quickly, you can go against a straight arm.
See, for me, Neil, we've already seen Akhil Zhakova in the under 73 kilo category where he put his arm down. But on this occasion, for me, that wasn't, you know, Kubetsov wasn't in control of that.
The point is that we've got to make the athletes and the coaches aware that if they do it, that they've got to be careful about going in a straight arm. The referee said, I need to have a look at that.
Have a look,
you know, and, as it happens, it came out okay for Kubetsov, but he could have lost it then. If you throw with an arm lock on, it is Hansakomaki disqualification.
Golden score. Wrestle takes 2 penalties into the golden score period. Never the best position to be in, I'm afraid. Single slip will gift the contest to Kubetsov. Nice and upright wrestle. Little attempt at Diashibare there.
But I don't think he's finished yet, Russell. I think he'll pick up the pace. There we go. Well, I didn't think that was actually.
He attacked him with the Ashiwaza.
Yeah, he attacked him with it. I didn't think that was a Shido.
We were just talking about wrestle attacking with the Ashibare. Kubetsov stepping off that. And he looked as surprised as we were that he'd picked up a penalty for stepping out. Oh well. Pressure on the edge here from wrestle.
Now Wrestle starts to really go to work.
Kubetsov is going to have to step things up in response. Can't afford to let this drift now because they're going to be pretty tight in the golden score period.
Yeah, the golden score period means that the referees really are looking, aren't they, carefully to make sure that you're attacking at the same time, or the right amount of time. Any kind of drop. Oh! Wow, what an Ashiwaza that was. Talk about opportune stuff. And, well, Wrestle, he can't believe it. Because
where did that come from?
Yeah, well, it was absolute beautiful stuff, wasn't it? What an Ashiwaza that was. And I think even Wrestle, well, is saying, I can kind of appreciate that one because that was
argument.
Super. Yeah, so Kubetsov not only beats his compatriot, teammate, but and Ashiwaza there in the bronze medal match, and that's got to look good for him, hasn't it, for Olympic qualification and also Olympic selection.
Going to look good on the highlights reel as well.
Wow. Well, that's judo. I said earlier, I said the Ashiwaza can be used to set your opponent up, or it can be used as a major scoring. Watch this, just beautiful. Diashibarai just takes him onto his back, foot forward, catches the 1 foot, little bit of movement, and hardly any effort, just directs it with the hands there. Look at the sleeve hand and the Suruti hand there, just puts him onto his back.
We've got Trautmann, the German coach, in the background was shaking his head. Where did that come from?
Absolute brilliance, you know, but that's what judo's all about, and that's our sport. It can be all over in a split second, and that's what happened there.
such nice movement.
Yeah, just lovely, isn't it? It's very very short foot movement there. It's with movement, with momentum, and it's very, very quick. Hardly any power whatsoever needed. It's all to do with momentum and direction.
We come now to the final. Oh no, beg your pardon, we got second bronze medal contest. Jumping the gun there. Christian Parlati of Italy faces Vedat Albayrak of Turkey. It's Parlati in the white judogi, Albayrak in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Ramzadin Zaidov of Uzbekistan. Couldn't wait for the final there.
We were nearly there. we will be.
Albayrak has looked so good today, really, really threatening. Parlati as well. There's just something about him. To me, he doesn't have the look of your normal 81 kilo hard man judoka, does he? And
no,
yet the results he comes up with are really
world
shocking.
Champion, then he steps it up, and he's just got a sneaky little ouchigari that he does, a setting group of techniques that surprise his opponents. And I think that Parlati will be trouble here. But like you say, Albayrak in good form. He's a huge thrower. But watch Parlati. Parlati will play cat and mouse here. Just he'll try and close it down. And like Sheldon said, doesn't always look as if he's going to throw the big one in, but it just comes. There's the
that ouchigari, yeah, that's right.
Sneaky little ouchigari.
He's down on one knee almost.
Down onto one knee, and then just swishes the foot round. You know, I watched it for the very first time. The first time I saw it, I thought, oh, that was lucky. It wasn't lucky at all.
Sorted outside Malay early on, did Christian Parlati, and then Alexios Thanasidis, and then lost to Dominic Wrestle in the quarter-final.
Yeah, and he could end up getting the medal with Wrestle not.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is how, you know, that's what happens with the repechage. In trouble here a little bit. Now, if we had a real concentration on that arm, he's got the shimiwaza there if he really presses it down. Palati's saying that he's doing something that's not quite right. He needs to just concentrate on getting out of there. Oh, that might just be on. That might be on. Chris Bowles used to call it the slippery snake, that one. Friend of mine. Dear friend.
That's horrible when that happens.
Well, it is, because you can't get out. Once the hands make contact and they meet, you think, oh, I'll stand. You can't get out, you know. So saw him catching a few of them. So good newaza. Palati almost in trouble. Remember, strangle or arm lock for a submission. You can hold them down as well, or you can throw. And that wasn't a score because the elbow was out there. So the elbow has to be tucked in for the side to make contact. So he did well there, Palati, but that's twice now he's had to avoid, and Albarak twice. On top in Tachiwaza.
Palati picking up a Shido for passivity. Half the contest gone.
Well, I still think it's going to be the tricky one, the little tricky throw from Palati that's going to score. Prediction. Very one-sided, isn't he, Palati? Look at that. Just so awkward to fight. Well, it's going to be a second penalty, I think, for Palati, one for Albarak. So it was a little bit of a chance there. I mean, he was going one-sided, and he doubled up his own penalties. I think that was a good decision there from the referee.
Well, for me, Palati was the one who initiated that kind of stance
too, yeah, but,
at the risk of trying to draw a penalty for Albayrak. And it's paid off. For me, they got sucked in there because Palati wasn't interested in doing anything other than making him look passive.
And now he's dangerous again. Had the belt and looking for Surigoshi, one side and then the other.
Risky from Palati, what Neil was talking about. It paid off for him.
Yeah, it did. It was a chance, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right, well, he's drawn the penalty now, which is what he wanted. Now let's see if he can come back with something really positive.
I think it's going to be a little slippery snake of an Ouchigari. As soon as he gets into the right situation here. It's interesting, we've got total, absolute conflict of styles here. Albarak here looking for the contact for the big technique. But if he's not careful and he doesn't concentrate, he's going to get caught with a trick. As soon as he moves here to the side, Palati's going to do it.
So awkward, isn't he, Palati? Yeah. You would think Albayrak's going to come up with something, but he must also be feeling something.
Definitely feels the danger, and he knows that something's going to come. And Palati again taking the chance there, I think, for trying to draw him in, Albarak, getting him to commit.
Albayrak also runs the danger of getting drawn into that style of contest that Palati is comfortable with.
Yeah, you're right. I think he needs to do his own style of judo. Come in now and start to be as explosive as he normally is. He has slowed down to the pace of Palati.
that suits the Italian.
Yeah, no, absolutely it does.
And the longer he stays on the mat, the more difficult it is for him to deliver his power game because he gets drained. We know that they haven't, that he's struggled with fitness in the past.
This is where he needs to do it. Palatti in the driving seat here. Albarak doesn't want to stay there. Penalty apiece, I think.
I just think for Albayrak, he's mugged him. You know, he's put him in that position, and he's allowed himself to stay there, Albayrak. I mean, his coach must be screaming at him, get up, because he's looking passive, where really, Palatti's just holding him in there.
Well, yeah, I feel the same. You know, neither one of them have attacked.
And yet, you know, Albayrak has picked up the 2 penalties, both of which I think he's been sucked into them.
Well, now he can play it. Palatti, if he plays the absolute passivity bit, then
he wins it.
He wins it, yeah.
Yeah, he's turned the tables on Albayrak here. Albayrak now must have looked at the scoreboard and thought, I've got to do something here.
Now then, Albayrak. Oh, yes, he's got it.
Yeah.
I think that's going to score.
Yeah, so do I. It's just a question of looking to see where that began. The score's gone on the board. For me, that began inside.
Well, it definitely started inside, and I think that what Palatti's saying is that because I landed in the advertising board, that it shouldn't count. But I'm sorry about that. That's about as close as you'll get. You know, it should have been a mate before that then, shouldn't it? No, I think that's just in.
Oh, I like it for a score.
I do too.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that the technique started inside.
Well, I think that the big question now will be, we have to have a line somewhere along the line. And, you know, so they're going to have to draw a line, and I think they'll probably take that off. They might just take it off and let it continue. Otherwise, where do you stop?
Yeah, you'd be ending up in the street.
Yeah, I think so. I'll understand it either way, actually.
So will I.
It's me sitting on the fence.
Rams it inside of the referee in the middle is taking instruction because the decision is going to be made
by the
not by him.
Supervisors and the top table. They'll have a look at this over and over again. But I think in the end it'll come down to, have they crossed the line?
Yep.
No, they've given it. Understand it both ways, actually. I can understand why they would give it. It was really close. It was the closest to any score that we've got. It was a score, but was it just outside the area? And I can understand why they've said it's in.
If that had been in the preliminaries when we don't have the advertising boards there, I don't think Palatti would be arguing about it.
No.
What he's saying is that he feels that the advertising boards are an absolute end border, and despite where the technique begins, there must be a point where it ends. And for him, he's ended up on the advertising hoardings, and he thinks that that's the reason for calling it, calling a mate.
Yeah, look at that. Started in, that's for sure. If it goes into the red area, remember,
it's okay.
It's always okay.
Yeah.
That was halfway in the red area, and the.
Let's look at the landing. Let's look at the landing then. Does he land in the red area?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he does. He
so.
Lands in the red area and then goes into the advertising hoardings.
No, I think
okay
that was
with
a
that.
great decision, and I think that absolutely right. And I think if any budding referees out there, and we're bound to have them say something, they're going to say, well, did they land over the line? That was my first thought, but just looking at it now, we can see that he lands on the red. Absolute borderline, but they've called a good technique, the winning technique, and I think that's good enough.
We come now to the final of the under 81 kilo category. Sagimuki of Israel is going up against Matthias Kassa. Unfortunately, in a previous contest, Sagimuki had a rib injury, picked up a rib injury in his contest with Vedat Al-Bayrak, and he had to have some treatment. That treatment, unfortunately, has resulted in him having to withdraw from the contest. Zhang Guangye of China would have been in control of this one, but she's going to have to just award the contest to Matthias Kassa of Belgium, who's stepping onto the tatami now. I'm sure that Kassa would have liked to have had the opportunity for a revenge match against Sagimuki.
Yes,
it's not going to be the case.
It was a great match, the last one between the two of them, and like you say, you don't like to win like that, but he'll take it, I'm sure. Huge points. He's already qualified, but there are two Belgians that are fighting for the Olympic place, and I think that will cement this one. But
Sami Chuchi is the other really nice guy. This morning he was kind of rueful that he had exited early, but he said, hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. Right, we come now to the awarding ceremony for women in the under 70 kilo category. The medals are being presented by International Judo Federation refereeing supervisor, Mrs. Kathy Fleury.
And former Olympic champion.
The first of the bronze medals goes to Arai Chizuru of Japan. There's a bronze medal also for Marie-Yves Gahi of France. Silver medal goes to Sanne van Dijken of the Netherlands. The gold medal goes to Kim Polling of the Netherlands.
All Dutch final, a real domestic, when you consider that you can only have one representative at the Olympic Games. Both of these are fighting for that Olympic place. But it was Kim Polling that came out the winner yet again, put a 4-0 up against her teammate. And I think probably, 5 now. I've just been informed it's 5 wins to Kim Polling. I think Van Dijken, who has got the higher world ranking, it's just one of those unfortunate things that she finds it very difficult against her teammate.
And now the national anthem of the Netherlands. The winning quartet, Arai and Gahi, were the bronze medal winners. Silver went to Van Dijken, but it was Kim Polling who walked away with the gold medal. Right, well, at this point, we've usually got the highlights package, so let's hope that the team have been able to put together something. We'll have a look at that, and then we'll be back with the last of the awarding ceremonies. That's in the under 81 kilo category. Here it is. Come now to the awarding ceremony for the men in the under 81 kilo category.
The medals will be presented by the refereeing supervisor of the International Judo Federation, the Olympic champion, Mr. Giuseppe Mataloni.
The medals are being presented by the refereeing supervisor, International Judo Federation refereeing supervisor Giuseppe Mataloni. First of the bronze medals goes to Vedat Albayrak of Turkey. That's a bronze medal also for Alan Kubetsov of Russia. Silver medal goes to Sagi Muki of Israel. The gold medal goes to Matthias Kassa of Belgium.
Prize money and the flowers will be presented by General Manager of Shandong Guanyao Animal Handling Group, CEO Ltd, Ms. Swen Xue.
I think difficult for Sagimuki to stand up there. He hasn't fought the final. He's had an injury, and I think the right thing to do, it's a rib injury, and I think absolutely save it for the big one, for the Olympic Games.
Got it when he threw Albayrak in the semi-final. He threw Albayrak. Albayrak stood up. Sagimuki stayed on the ground holding his rib.
Yeah.
He stood up in pain and was shaking his head, at the coach, and that was it.
unfortunate. Two Israeli silver medals, but for the wrong reason.
Yeah. And now the national anthem of Belgium.
Thank you very much. Now can we ask you for family picture with VIPs and judoka?
So after day 2 here in Qingdao, Japan still in the lead with 4 gold medals. Netherlands move into second place with a gold and a silver, and the rest of the world are chasing hard. We've seen some amazing performances today with 1 or 2 surprises thrown in as well. Still 1 day to go though, and that means the heavies and the light heavyweights to be contested tomorrow. Till the same time tomorrow, from Sheldon Franco Rooks and myself, it's goodbye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the second day of Qingdao World Judo Masters 2019, People's Republic of China. Congratulations to the all judoka, especially all the medalists. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Just to remind you that the preliminaries tomorrow will start from 10:30 in the morning. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. 明天见。
观众朋友们，2019世界柔道大师赛第2天的比赛到此结束。明天上午10点30分准时开始第3天的比赛，欢迎大家观看，谢谢。
Kim Polling, congratulations. You are 4 times World Masters